5 most disturbing cases of real footage. Hold on, let me pause this. 5 most disturbing cases of real footage by Chilling Scares chat. Lock in.
On January 8th, 2005, a man named Martin discovered a mysterious package in his mailbox. Confused, he brought it inside and opened it up. Inside the package was a single item, a videotape with no label or note to explain its contents.
How old this got to be for people to still be using videotapes? So I reckon this has got to be a pretty old kind of video or footage found for it to still be using
Curious
videotapes.
to see what was on it, he put it in his camcorder and pressed play. And the footage he found on it was shocking to say the least. It contained a nearly hour-long video of a man describing the violent thing.
How much is an hour back then? How much storage would that be? How much I'm trying to see what the storage is in that tape.
How he was going to lure his victims and the makeshift devices he was going to use.
I'm not trained in torture methods, which is what I'm gonna have to make do. I got my drill here. The reason why it's got this padding on it is just to try to silence it a bit because I'm in an apartment. I got.
That doesn't really silence it. It also makes the drill less effective because you're covering all the fucking air holes.
Gags, socks.
If you think I'm an idiot for saying why there's not air holes in the drill, yes, there fucking is.
Got lots of duct tape. I got a soldering iron.
What?
Sheets.
That's just fucked. Soldering iron.
It's rather crude.
That's gonna do one. It's gonna go clean through them. Depends if you stab them with that, or it's gonna snap.
Implements, I think, can work wonders, especially if it's used in the right way.
However, while the content itself was extremely grim, what disturbed Martin more was the fact that he personally knew the person on screen.
He what?
This wasn't the manifesto of a serial killer planning to take innocent lives. Instead, it was the final message of Martin's close friend, Ricky Rodriguez. A man who was tormented
Ricky Rodriguez. I feel like I've heard that name before.
by a cult from the moment he was born.
He was what?
A man who was tormented by a cult from the moment he was born.
Tormented?
He eventually managed to escape the cult and was now planning to take revenge on the people who did unspeakable things to him for all those years. He recorded this hour-long video and mailed it to his few friends and family so they would find it and have all the answers about what he was about to do and why.
I'm making this video, well, for many reasons, I guess. I suppose
Did he succeed? Is my question.
the main reason is that I want there to be some record of
Is he picking up bullets?
the way I feel.
Yes,
my
he's
ideas,
loading mags.
Just who I was, really.
Ricky's story began 30 years earlier on January 25, 1975, when he was born as the first child of Karen Alva Zerby. Karen was a member of a cult called the Children of God,
I feel like I've heard this story before.
which used Christian language to lure in young, impressionable minds, often teenagers, and molded them to its sick and perverse ideals.
So, hold on. It was a Christian cult, but it allowed them in with Christian words to hang out with teenagers, so it's the hang a pedo.
2 years after Ricky's birth, he was adopted by the cult's leader, David Burke, who presented himself as the Chosen One. David changed the cult's name to The Family and declared Ricky to be a religious herald,
Any person that gets called the Chosen One is...
granting him a special position in the organization. However,
was
while
a
he was
kid.
treated like royalty by the other members on the surface, behind closed doors, Ricky was the victim of vile acts no child should ever have to endure.
Like what?
David not only encouraged these acts, but went as far as to write a whole book about everything he and his followers did to Ricky, called The Story of DeVito.
So he was genuinely just fucking, like, tortured, and they made a story about it.
This
By
abuse
everyone in the cult.
continued for many years, but as Ricky got older, he became aware of David's lies and manipulation. Then, in 1999,
He
he
ran
finally
away.
managed to escape the cult with his girlfriend Alexia Manuel by faking a visit to the cult's compound in Mexico and fleeing to the US instead. Reintegration into society after 24 years in an isolated cult was anything
You reckon
but
they found him?
simple,
Nah.
but Ricky somehow managed to pull through and secure a job as an electrician. He also married Alexia and later moved to Tucson, Arizona due to his work. Unfortunately, no matter how hard he tried to move forward, the nightmare he escaped continued to haunt him. David had passed away in
I can see why, though.
1994, and the cult was now under the supervision
David, 1994. And this person takes over.
of Karen Zerbe, Ricky's mother. And while the cult had managed
His mother took it over. Oh, nah.
to escape legal repercussions by mainly operating overseas, Ricky knew that there were still countless children suffering the same fate as him.
I can imagine so. This seems like a fucking... This doesn't even feel real that this thing happened, but it fucking did.
So,
It's
in
cruel.
January of 2005, he decided enough was enough and took matters into his own hands. Which brings us back to the video he recorded and then
he
mailed
went
to a
away
handful
and
of
just
close
fucking
friends and his wife.
finished
In it,
it.
Ricky mentioned his ultimate goal, which was to bring down the cult all on his own. Beyond that, a part of this was also about getting revenge for everything that was done to him.
There's this need that I have. This need, it's not a want, it's a need, and I wish it wasn't, but it is. It's a need for revenge. It's a need for justice. Because I can't go on like this.
In this video,
That's
he
fair
also
enough, though.
laid
He
out his
fucking
plan
lives
for
with it every
accomplishing
day.
his goal. He'd apparently gotten in contact with his previous nanny, Angela Smith, who was among the group that tormented him during his time in the cult. He was going to invite her over for dinner at his apartment in Tucson and make her tell
Taser.
everything she knew about the other members' whereabouts by any means necessary. And that's exactly what he did. On January
Okay.
8th, after mailing copies of his recording, he invited Angela into his home and proceeded with the plan. It's unclear what information he managed to extract from her before taking her life. He then got into his car and drove to Blythe, California. There, he rented a motel and called his wife to tell her about what he had done and what he was going to do next. However, despite the meticulous planning, Ricky ultimately couldn't follow through with the rest of his plan. On the morning of January 9th, authorities found his car in a parking lot just a few miles from the hotel he was staying at. Ricky was found inside the car as well, where he had taken his own life.
Oh my days, so he couldn't do it, he couldn't bear it. He couldn't bear what he had done.
And
Or
while this
gonna
was
do.
tragic news for his loved ones, it was hardly surprising for his wife. You see, Ricky believed that killing the cultists would bring him peace, something he reiterated in his last video.
I reckon he took her life, and he's like, that brought me absolutely nothing. That brought me absolutely no, like, comfort at all.
I can imagine how I would feel. How liberating it would be.
But that's not what happened. During his call with his wife, he confessed that despite his anger and resentment, killing Angela was the hardest thing he had ever done. Taking revenge didn't bring the comfort he was looking for.
Exactly
He
what I
couldn't
was
bring
saying.
himself to take any more lives and decided to end it all that night, leaving his friends and family
Couldn't
with
do it.
this
Couldn't live
hour-long
himself.
video to remember him by. As for the family cult, it remains active to this day under the leadership of his mother.
Oh my fucking days! Why does the government do anything about that? Because I don't. It depends. Are they allowed to take action?
On October 4th, 2006, at approximately 6:15 a.m., the Barrie Police Department received a chilling call from a woman saying, "My children are dead," in a calm and quiet voice.
Oh
The
no!
disconnect between her tone and the situation she was describing was extremely unsettling. When asked what happened, she
Those are scumbags. That other boy wasn't as much. He's still bad for killing that person. Still bad for it, right? But if people doing like the cult and that were just scumbags. This mum's
replied, "I
sounds
don't
it.
know, I don't remember."
Sounds like a scumbag.
Police officers immediately rushed to the address she provided and knocked on the door of her
Because my thing is, my children are dead. She's definitely killed them. This mother has definitely killed those children, 100%.
apartment, bracing for what they might find. The door opened and they were greeted by 31-year-old Frances Elaine Campione. When the officers asked her about the children she mentioned on her call, she replied in the same disturbingly calm voice, stating, "Yes, they're dead. They're on my bed." As the officers
I still
entered the
believe
master bedroom,
she's done it.
he saw the remains of two little girls, 3-year-old Serena and 19-month-old Sophia, lying on the bed. Both
Oh,
were
no.
dressed in clean clothes and were also wearing necklaces and earrings. However, their skin was starting to turn blue, suggesting they might have been deceased for quite some time.
Oh no.
One of the officers also noticed a small bruise on Sophia's forehead, and that was it. There was nothing else in the room that could have explained their deaths. But as the investigators looked through Elaine's apartment, they found a camcorder with footage that explained everything. The recording started on a wholesome note, showing Elaine surprising Serena with a new bike on her 3rd birthday on August 8th.
That makes
Hi,
sense.
Serena. It's August 8th, 2006. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
If she was 3 years old in 2006, which means she was born, that means right now she'd be. I'm hearing like bubbling. Sorry, she would be about 23 right now.
Birthday, Serena.
No, she would be
Happy
23.
birthday to
She'd be
you.
22.
Serena's 3 today. Yay! Shall we go to the living room and see if you got any birthday presents from the birthday fairies?
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Birthday fairies. I've never heard of that thing before.
I have to go.
Never heard of anything like that before. They look like a normal family. It looks pretty normal.
What is it?
It's a bike.
The next
That
video
seems
also
pretty
showed
normal.
Elaine and her 2 daughters just hanging around and having fun.
I love you.
This much.
Oh, I love you more than that.
So far, everything
It's
looks
pretty
quite
normal.
normal.
Yeah.
However, the third recording, dated October 2nd, was when things started to get weird. The tone of the recordings instantly
Blue
changed
eyes.
as Elaine suddenly went on and on about their horrible living conditions and the torment her ex-husband Leo and his family had put her through, said all in front of her children.
Legend has it. Marching
That's not
gas
something
has
a
been
mother
locked
should
down
do,
for
in my
centuries
personal opinion.
because of the beasts.
If you're a mother, you have to be
inside.
strong.
You can't see through the camera, boo-boo. Oh, yes, this is a deplorable, horrible, messy, filthy apartment that supposedly my 2 children and I live in, and it's just a horrible, horrible mess.
It's not a mess. I don't know what she's talking about. It's
I
not even
think
that bad.
Diego Campione is totally in the wrong, and I hope he burns in hell for all his sins. The same
Okay, that's a bit much. Don't you be saying that in in front of your children. Definitely not.
as Leonardo. All I wanted to do was take care of my 2 little girls and live happily ever after the 3 years of physical, emotional, and mental abuse that I endured.
Okay, we are going far off track here, women. This is not necessary.
Tremendously by Leonardo Campione, and in the past year from Anna
sounds like
and
she's
Diego
going insane.
Campione, the mental and emotional abuse, which wouldn't stop, and I had CAS keep bringing these 2 people into my life over and over again when I kept telling them the amount of mental and emotional abuse it was causing my 3-year-old daughter Serena and
This is so off topic. This is not necessary in the slightest.
I and Sophia. It was horrible and uncalled for, and I want justice to my family
Even our fucking other daughters telling her to stop.
for what they have all done to us. I cried out for help. They should have.
Leo was
She was
apparently
done.
extremely abusive, both physically and mentally. He prevented her from contacting her parents, and at one point even kicked her in her stomach while she was pregnant.
Oh,
This
fuck
resulted
off, you
in Leo getting
scumbag.
charged with domestic violence, and the 2 getting divorced. However, at the time of this recording, Leo was starting to turn things around and was engaged in a legal battle with Elaine over the custody of their daughters.
Oh no.
This took an immense toll on Elaine's mental health. She was already quite unstable and had been to the psych ward twice in the past couple of years. But according to her mother, the custody battle caused her to lose it completely and develop severe paranoia. She became worried that Leo would one day show up and
There's like crackling going on with this headset. Turn this up.
forcibly take her daughters away. Then, on October 2nd, after ending this recording at 8:39 p.m., Elaine did the unthinkable by taking the lives of her own daughters.
Hold
Then
on.
record-
Back.
Elaine did the unthinkable by
Hold on, let's
ending
hold-
this recording at 8 her daughters away. She became worried that Leo would one day show up and forcibly take her daughters away.
So she just went ballistic. She couldn't stand the fact of him taking the daughters, and if she took the responsibility goes, if I can't have them, nobody can.
Then, on October 2nd, after ending this recording at 8:39 p.m., Elaine did the unthinkable by taking the lives of her own daughters, then recording a haunting confession that investigators discovered on the same camera.
Recording this because Leo, there, are you happy? Everything is gone, gone. You wouldn't give peace. You wouldn't tell the truth. I begged. You even had Stacy not believing me, telling her I had to sign papers when I didn't. I went to victim witness to get the truth. Trying, begging everyone the truth. How you beat me for 3 years behind closed doors. Beat me when I was pregnant with Serena and Sophia. You didn't care about our babies. You didn't care about me. You cared about yourself. You wanted to win. You won. Are you happy? How does it make you feel?
I wouldn't call that winning the slightest. Neither person has won here. Never. Never. Not a single person in this situation has won.
How does it make you feel? It doesn't make me feel great.
Like you had to do it. You said it like you had to. You definitely did not.
I've lost everything my whole life.
At
On
this
your own
point,
accord.
the camera cut to a later point where Elaine attempted to take her own.
I tried to overdose.
Remodeling time at their Aurelia and Bracebridge stores. They are changing the displays. Now is the time to make a great deal on an Ontario-made hydro-cooled hot tub. In stock models, floor model, or custom orders, everything has a sale price. Pool Spa Sauna Showroom, making waves in Aurelia, Bracebridge, and soon to be in Huntsville.
She's saying this like it wasn't her doing it. Like she had no choice. You definitely did have a choice. You have a definite choice. I know she's insane. Defo is insane. So she probably thinks that what she's done is the only option she had. She didn't have the support that she needed to have to do this, but it still is on her fault for not having it, for not getting it.
Elaine was arrested on the spot and was later charged with murder, with the found footage in her home serving as crucial evidence against her. She was ultimately sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 25 years.
I don't think she deserves it.
Are you a student looking for something
I think the
to do
husband
with
should
their
also
summer?
get at least
Then
a
Camp
summon
Leaders
as
is
well.
the perfect experience for you.
Years ago, the Bureau of Land Management published a public service announcement dubbed Stay Out and Stay Alive, educating viewers about the countless dangers of exploring abandoned mines, including the very real risk of cave-ins, volatile explosives, wild animals, and entire sections without oxygen. However, the most chilling part of the video was the story and the accompanying found footage of an accident that had occurred years earlier.
What
On
the
July
fuck?
4th, 1998,
It was
a
big,
group
by the
of
way.
young men found an abandoned mine in Nevada and decided to explore it for fun. Though, surprisingly, the boys seemed acutely aware of the mistake they were making right from the start.
As you see Briz pointing out, stay alive. It's a good point, but we're not too smart, so we're gonna go anyway.
This is an unsafe mine. Danger.
Yet the allure of exploring a place untouched for decades was too tempting for them to ignore. However, the deeper they went into the mine, the more
So
dangerous
it
it
is.
became, with the boys walking over sketchy wooden bridges.
I'd love to
continue their
explore a mine,
journey.
but not one that would
They
kill me.
even found signs of the mine caving in, but chose to ignore those signs just to venture deeper.
Nah, I'd
You
lose
look
it.
at all
I wouldn't go that far.
There's lots of rocks and stuff that have fallen from the ceiling, which indicates that probably not a good idea to be walking this way. And
Well, they've already fallen, so they're not gonna fall again.
well, there's more to fall.
I think the pal has a real good point there. There is more to fall, including the entire fucking cave.
An important thing to keep in mind is that
What are
these
you
were
talking about?
professionals with prior experience of safely exploring abandoned mines.
At least this guy's got the right idea. Got a heart attack. That's going to really save him when a fucking cave collapses on him.
It was just a group of boys looking to do something cool and film the adventure. They could have easily plunged to their
catacombs.
deaths down a 1,000-foot mine shaft or gotten lost in the miles-long maze of tunnels.
But
which
no,
started
no.
looking
I guess that's fun. Yeah. Guess that's fun.
more and more likely as time went on.
Yeah, we gotta remember where we're. Okay, we got out here.
Who painted these X's in the clip? Grant. What do they mean?
Yo, we can't see shit, bro.
Okay, they're all got an X on. We can go this way. That one's got an X.
I take it they get lost.
That. What does the diamond mean?
Where's that go?
Goes down.
Along there.
Ooh, that's not a little.
They definitely get
Well,
lost.
it'd be kind of hard if you slipped and fell. You could catch yourself before you actually fell down there. Not if panic set in and you.
No, you fucking wouldn't. This is not a
Toxic
movie.
gases and radioactive elements could have also caused serious health issues down the line, if not immediately. Fortunately, they somehow managed to avoid all of these dangers and make their way fairly deep into the mine. But then they came across something that could have ended all of their lives in one fell swoop.
A cave collapsing.
Oh wow! We have to climb that.
Is that water? Is that water?
This is going to America's Funniest when somebody falls. That's a good idea. Alrighty.
Is that water?
Hey, don't touch the ropes.
While crossing a
it's
sketchy
not.
section
Okay,
of the
sorry.
mine, one of the boys noticed a rope dangling down from one of the wooden beams and immediately became curious about whatever was down there.
So what? He went down it. I take it.
Wow, so we're climbing down this rope.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
How are we getting out
These
of it?
guys seem so intelligent.
I see.
They had little rope climbing experience between them. However, they didn't let that stop them from accomplishing their desires.
So they think they're really
The guy named
intelligent.
Adam decided
You
to
reckon
be the
they're?
first one to descend.
You reckon this guy's
resulting
pretty
in this.
intelligent?
How
Do you
far down
fall?
does it go?
All the way down to that.
You gotta remember this is decades old. That rope is 100% going to snap. 100%.
We're
Like a good 30 feet.
we're like gonna hook this
I'll go
camera.
first. I am.
100% going to snap. I mean, look at this shite flashlight he's got.
Where'd it go?
It's gonna snap. It's gonna snap. It's gonna snap. It's gonna snap. It's gonna snap.
Put it like he's doing it in your mouth.
I'm telling you, it's gonna snap. I put money in that shit's gonna snap.
How am I gonna get the thing down there? Yeah, but how am I get back up?
It's going to snap.
I don't have.
Do people not get how like time works? Told you.
Adam! Oh! Adam! Oh. Adam! Yes. Adam! Oh, God. Oh, God. Somebody help. Adam!
The rope Adam chose to trust
I
was
told you.
completely worn and gave way shortly after putting his weight on it. This caused him to plunge 65 feet down a dark mine shaft.
I thought they said about 30. These guys are fucking idiots.
Lose consciousness. Luckily, none of the damage he took on his way down was immediately lethal. He was still breathing.
What?
His friends were able to find an exit and contact the authorities, who eventually rescued Adam after an hours-long rescue mission.
So
Ultimately,
did he come
them
alive?
escaping the mine without any casualties was nothing short of a miracle. The mine shaft could have easily been over 100 feet deep, or Adam could have just as easily hit his head on the surrounding wall. Both of these scenarios would have resulted in his death. What's even worse
I think
is
at
that
least
the
has
whole group
lifelong,
could have gotten stranded in the
danger
shaft
zone.
if the rope broke when the last person was going down. With no way to contact the outside world, the group would have likely died of starvation. Fortunately, they
I
were able to
reckon.
walk away
I reckon that big fucking idiots would start eating each other.
from this
100%.
terrifying experience with just a few broken bones along with cuts and scratches.
That's it. I thought you got a lot more than that.
Ready
Oh,
to
hello.
unlock Roblox digital gift cards?
I thought you would have had a lot more than that.
On the 25th of February 2022, the Perea Fuel Company hired maintenance workers to reopen one of the underwater pipes connecting their oil unloading dock and refinery. The operation team included 5 men: Christopher, Kazim, Yusuf, Rishi, and Faisal. They were
Faisal
going to
seems
use
high.
a pressurized habitat to inspect the pipe and make any
I've seen the
necessary
same video about 1,000 times.
repairs. However, shortly after entering this habitat, all 5 men disappeared from the work site, leaving those on the surface to wonder what could have happened. It wasn't until rescuers found footage from a GoPro mounted to one of the divers' suits that the full truth came to light. The footage showed the men struggling to open the valve keeping the pipe shut, prompting Kazim to go get a wrench. He returned to the habitat and handed the wrench over to his co-workers. But then, a few seconds later, this happened.
I'm not really getting what's happening here, but I can see what I can do. So what's actually happened? Am I tripping? Okay, something's happened. I take it gets filled to the brim with water. It's obviously got water in it, but I feel like a lot of pressure.
The moment the valve was opened, its low pressure created a powerful vacuum.
Yeah.
Water rushed into the habitat, while the pressurized air violently forced everyone into the pipe. All 5 of the men were forced into the 30-inch wide pipe, faster than they could blink. After After tumbling through the metal pipe at violent speeds for a minute and a half,
So they're in that.
they came to a stop at a section containing a small air pocket, just enough to keep them alive, allowing them a brief moment to find their bearings and assess the gravity of their situation. All of them were barely breathing, and one of them had also injured his leg. And while the air pocket was keeping them alive for the moment, it wasn't going to last very long.
Yeah, I
So,
can't imagine it will. I mean, from the sounds of it. Yeah, so this is the pipe, right? So, hyperactive chamber river if installed. Air provided by compressor. Press. I think what's happened is, right, is I don't know.
No other option.
Not drawn to scale. I fucking hope so. I think sea level. Okay, so there must be a valve under here, right? And this was filled to the brim with air. And they open a valve and then just water the air, obviously water with air, right? It's gonna get filled. I think it might have been over here or over here. And they open a valve, and obviously when they're all sitting outside and they open it, water's in here, all the water is gonna get pushed into this. And they're gonna go with it. Because obviously there's a lot of water kind of waiting, like pressure on this pipe. So there's a lot of pressure on this pipe with the water. They open the valve, all that pressure of water is going to fly into this pipe and it's just going to fill the pipe. And I reckon they've went with that pressure. I think
The two
so.
men at the front,
I don't know.
Christopher and Faisal started moving forward in hopes of reaching the pipe's end and getting help for the other three. But after making their way through several flooded sections, Faisal lost hope and refused to go any further. This left Christopher to continue alone and ultimately
Christopher.
reach the end of the pipe, where he was eventually pulled out by rescuers. Unfortunately, the same did not happen for his 4 co-workers. Days passed, and the
don't
rescue
tell me.
efforts were slim to none, eventually leaving the other 4 to die in that cramped metal tube.
What?
The company's CEO later defended this decision, stating that a rescue mission would have only endangered more lives.
How?
The incident sparked widespread outrage.
Mind you, this pressure hang is it's a one-time thing. So this pressure hang with all the pressure rushing into this pipe, it only happens once. It's not like if they go near, it's going to happen again. It will only happen once.
And even forced the regional government to launch an inquiry into how such a disaster was allowed to happen in the first place. But, as is the case with countless similar incidents, nothing much came of it, despite the numerous hearings. The other 4 divers were left for dead. That said, the Trinidad government did announce a compensation of $1 million for each of their families, as well as Christopher in April 2025.
So Christopher also got a mill. Despite not dying, but
On
still.
April 28, 2000, 22-year-old Russian diving instructor Yuri Lipsky decided to reach the depths of the Blue Hole in Dahab, Egypt. This was a risky plan from the get-go.
Is the blue hole one of like the deepest things there? I think it
Since
is.
the Blue Hole is widely regarded as the deadliest diving site in the world, with as many as 200 fatalities in recent years. To make matters worse,
Why?
before his dive,
How's
Yuri
it-
asked a local technical diver to accompany him on his journey.
How is it
All
so
of them
dangerous?
rejected him, since the preparations for this risky of a dive took as long as a week. Yet Yuri wanted to go in just 2 days, no matter what. Even after every instructor refused to support his plan, instead of backing out, Yuri made the worst mistake of his life and chose to go through with it alone. He started the dive around noon and quickly disappeared into the depths of the ocean.
How is it that
However,
dangerous?
many hours passed and there was no sign of Yuri anywhere. His concerned mother enlisted the help of a local technical diver named Tariq Omar, who immediately set out to rescue her son. Unfortunately, by the time he found Yuri,
He
it
was
was
dead.
already too late.
Yeah.
Tariq discovered Yuri's lifeless body floating near the floor of the Blue Hole. The next day,
How
he
is this so
returned with the
dangerous?
necessary equipment to bring Yuri's body back to the surface
Is it just like pressure? Is it just kind of like it's a lot of water pressure?
and got to work. But as he was about to take Yuri back, he noticed that Yuri's diving camera was lying nearby. So he grabbed that as well and began ascending. This camera had captured the final moments of Yuri in haunting detail.
Is it just pressure? I think it is just pressure that's just gotten to him. He seems to be just mindlessly swimming. Mindlessly swimming, sorry.
The dive started like any other, with Yuri swimming alongside many other divers. However, it wasn't long before everyone else faded from view as he started to descend deeper into the blue hole. And that's when all the worst possible things started happening in rapid succession.
I'm still curious on how it
It
happened.
started with him failing to keep his gas levels under check, resulting in him getting nitrogen poisoning and becoming extremely disoriented.
What?
By the time he realized his situation, he was already sinking like a rock. He started
Oh,
panicking
so
and
he's just
began inflating
sinking.
his buoyancy control device quickly to avoid sinking any further. Tragically, this backfired. The buoyancy control device bursted due to the rapidly increasing pressure, leaving Yuri no way of safely returning to the surface.
That's kind of pressure. This is really sad, right? And I know it's a really sad moment, but I could have sworn I heard the subnautical noise there for breaking into a limestone. You hear it? I could have sworn I heard that there.
The increasing depth exacerbates the symptoms of nitrogen poisoning as well, and it wasn't long before his camera captured the horrific sounds of him struggling to breathe, ending with him sinking to the 377 feet or
So it's pressure.
115 meters deep sea floor and passing
Pressure.
away. The only silver lining in this whole situation is that there's a good chance the found footage helped at least one diver avoid a similar fate by learning from the mistakes that cost Yuri his life.
That's good then, at least. But still, that guy did not seem like the brightest person to do it alone. But anyways, chat, that is the end. W video.